Internet, I'm HamsterBomb.
I'm Matt.
And you guys are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm better now.
Okay, Matt had a weird coughing before we started. Anyway, you guys are back for another episode of Pokedex Paradox, and I'm joined by Matt this time. We got another exciting one.
We got a confusing one.
This is really messed up. So, oh boy, how do we even start? Okay, so you guys may have remembered an older episode that we did where we kind of covered the same kind of topic. We normally don't want to go back to the same sort of things unless we find something even more extreme or crazier, or for some reason it gives us a new insight into the same concept, and that's exactly what we found here in Dragonite. So the episode in question we're talking about is the Pidgeot episode, where I had Matt join me because this guy is all into planes, jets,
Pidgeot
flying crazy fast, and we talked about how Pidgeot pretty much can't fly at Mach 2 speeds that it supposedly can.
Right, but this one's a little bit different because it doesn't say his speed. It's
right,
the
this
problem
is a
with
speed
the
thing.
time.
This is Dragonite, and we're going to be talking about how this giant, blubbery monstrosity
Of love and cuddles.
with little, fragile, tiny wings, can somehow fly crazy fast. We're going to see how fast in just a bit and what kind of feat we're going to have to solve after we're done with these Pokedex entries, but good God. Let's just get in some of these entries, and they start off right off the bat from being messed up.
They just go.
So, red and blue, an extremely rarely seen marine Pokemon. Its intelligence is said to match that of humans. I find that funny enough already, that this thing's supposed to be smart enough as people, but there's no, like, working civilization where they're inventing things and trying to, I don't know, make Pokeballs to capture humans and...
It's because Dragonites are just happy creatures. They have no need for violence of fighting creatures against creatures.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
They have transcended.
In yellow, it is said that this Pokemon lives somewhere in the sea and that it flies. However, it is only a rumor. I just wanted to point out that it is only a rumor that it flies. We don't know if it flies. You're making stuff up.
No, I mean, there's a comma there. It says it is only a rumor. Are they talking Dragonite is only a rumor?
I don't know. The comma is very confusing.
It goes against Blue's data entry, which says,
does.
oh, it exists.
It's also about to go against every other entry, and we're going to read.
Oh yeah, we're keep going.
So, gold. It is said that this Pokemon constantly flies over the immense seas and rescues drowning people. So, it flies.
Yep, it flies. It's a good dragon.
It is a good dragon. It rescues drowning people. Silver. This marine Pokemon has an impressive build that lets it fly freely over raging seas without trouble. It's slowly getting more and more impressive. We started from, it might be able to fly, to...
It flies.
I think it flies. To, it flies over raging seas without any trouble. Okay. Crystal. It is said that somewhere in the ocean lies an island where these gather. Only they live there.
That'd be kind of cool. I want to go to that island.
Dragonite
I want to go to Dragonite Island.
I don't think I included it in here, but there is one of the entries that describes Dragonite saving a drowning person and taking them to Dragonite Island.
Okay, I'm going to go drown in the ocean real quick.
Yeah, you got to go drown in the ocean.
Wait for a
Yeah,
Dragonite to come save me.
you might be that one in, I don't know how many people would drown in that ocean, that Dragonite might save and take you to Dragonite Island, but that might be worth the risk.
Everyone gets one.
Yeah, everyone gets one chance. So, let's move on to Ruby and Sapphire. Here's when things get hairy. Dragonite is capable of circling the globe in just 16 hours. It is a kind-hearted Pokemon that leads lost and foundering ships in a storm to the safety of land. Who cares about that? That thing just flew around the entire planet in 16 hours.
Yep.
What?
What?
So we went from, I don't even know if it can fly. It can probably fly. It flies really well. It flies around the entire planet in 16 hours.
Which is bull honky, but...
That is crazy. We'll get to the exact numbers of that later. Let's try and finish the dexes first. We have Fire Red. It can fly in spite of its big and bulky physique. Yeah, no wonder. It circles the globe in just 16 hours. So that wasn't a mistake.
They're keeping it.
They're going ham on this.
This
is true.
It's there. It's canon.
One more. Ultra Sun. It flies over raging seas as if they were nothing. Observing this, the ship's captain dubbed this Pokemon the Sea Incarnate.
Now, here's the thing. The whole flying over crazy seas and stuff, we actually figured out how it could do that.
We think it can, yes.
Yeah.
And the way we kind of tied this together, because we have to solve so many things in this.
Right. Of all the things, the raging seas thing is not an issue.
Yeah,
it really is not.
We had a creative way to do this, and Matt thought, why don't we look at Dragonair? And I'm going to let you read Dragonair's entry. Can you read it from the...
I can't read
Okay,
that.
his eyesight's kind of messy.
My eyes are horrible.
I will read it for you guys. So anyway, Dragonair, if you guys know, has a bit of a weather manipulating ability.
Yep.
So we're going to try and steal this and give this to Dragonite, assuming he can still do this. Nothing in his Dex entry said he can, but we're going to
also says he can't. Like
nothing says he cannot.
Like he didn't lose this ability when he evolved.
And since he's able to fly with no problems here, we're going to assume he still has this ability. So in Fire Red, Dragonair, it is said to live in seas and lakes. Even though it has no wings, it has been seen flying occasionally. So, by some force, Dragonair is still able to fly. We don't know what that force is. This is the magical part.
Well, its ears grow larger.
Whatever, yeah, but it's not flapping. It's not somehow So it's somehow, like, makes some aura around it. I believe it says this. I'm going to read the next one just so we have it done. Gold. They say that if it emits an aura from its whole body, the weather will begin to change instantly. So this aura that it, like, glows, it'll start flying. You can kind of see it fly when it glows like this in the anime, if that has anything to do with it. But anyway, so the species, let's just say the species has some way to...
Control weather,
for one, which is going to be handy for those raging seas.
Yeah.
Which, we might as well just tackle that now. Yeah, if you're able to manipulate the weather, all you really need to do is just make a pocket of, warmer or cooler air around you.
And you're good to go.
Fly in that way. Who cares about the storm? He could have been a nice guy and stopped the storm.
He could have been.
He could have been.
Meanwhile, this captain's just, like, clinging onto the ship going, oh, God! Oh, God! Look at that Dragonite!
Yeah.
Oh, God! Oh, God!
Now, if only that captain would have known Dragonite either caused the storm, or could have snapped his fingers and stopped the storm,
or could have just saved him.
Or could have just saved him and brought him to Dragonite Island.
He wasn't technically drowning, so he was fine.
No, he wasn't drowning just yet. So, we think we're going to use that weather thing to stop the raging sea thing. So, also for speed, we might have that help us a little bit, but that's all we can really do. So, the other thing that we're probably going to shelve is that magical aura. We can't science that. We have no idea what that means.
We're just going to go... This is where we got to put in the suspension of disbelief. It can control weather.
Okay, yes.
We don't know the scientific reason how, but there are ways that weather can be controlled.
With its aura, let's say it can get itself to levitate and start flying, but there is no way that is going to help answer the air resistance and the crazy speeds we're going to need to get to for Dragonite to pull off this 16-hour
World's Fair
journey. Yes, so...
Let's just start with the basic math.
Oh, man, this is going to be insane. So, he's flying around the Earth. We know how big that is. So, the circumference of the Earth is almost 25,000 miles. It's 24,901 miles all the way around.
We got big.
Now, that's the thing. Here's the thing. That's at the surface.
Yep, that's just
He has to be flying above this.
Right, so...
He has to.
If you're flying higher, it's like being on a record disc. The farther out to the edges you go, the more you got to travel.
Right, so we could, and that is also going to be important later, we could say he's going at 25,000 because he's got to do it in the air, but we don't know how high. And that's going to be the big problem here. We don't know how high he is. So... Assuming it's just the surface area, I don't know, he's flying an inch above the ground.
Well, this is one of those, I know we don't like the anime, but we'll just take it from the anime, which usually shows him flying either slightly above the land, or if he's up high, he's not, like, super high. He's maybe, like, 200, 300 feet in the air.
Okay, so let's just assume, he's flying close enough to where we're going to use the circumference of the Earth. So in 16 hours, that means he's going to be traveling at 1,556.313 miles per hour at the surface. And he's got to do this, basically, at the equator or somewhere else where he's going to be going all the way around. He can't cheese this. He's got to go around the globe.
Yep.
So, if that's the case, Mach 1, we're talking Mach speed. You break Mach speed, you've broken the sound barrier.
You've also broken your neck.
And your neck, among other things. But if you break the sound barrier even once, just let us know. Like, what kind of things are going to happen just to the environment when you break the sound barrier? Forget Dragonite.
Sonic boom is going to happen.
We get a sonic boom.
Not the big red button disgusting kind version, but...
No.
An actual deadly boom. Well, not deadly.
It can be.
It can be deadly, like, say you're standing next to a window and what happens and the glass shatters and cut your face up and you die there, but...
It's a huge shockwave of force.
Right.
That, There's jet planes that say they fly too close over houses, and it's going to create this huge shockwave that will shatter windows. It could knock you over.
Or like a volcano erupting. Usually that, like in TV shows where you see that white line going down like a volcano erupting or something, that's actually happens. That's the shockwave coming down the mountain and dispersing outwards.
Yes. So that's breaking the sound barrier once. Dragonite's flying over 1,500 miles an hour.
So he just barely breaks the second one.
He's breaking the second one. Mach 1 is 767 miles an hour. A little bit over that. It's in the decimals. Mach 2 is 1,534.54 miles an hour. Dragonite is topping that by about 20 miles an hour, but he broke it. So, and he has to consistently break it. Here's the thing. When he starts his journey going around the world, he doesn't just 0 to 1,500 some miles an hour.
No,
right?
he's got to build up speed.
He's got to build up speed. So if he's building up speed, that takes time. And if that takes time,
that adds on to the 16
he has to go faster. So he's going more than this. And remember, this is just at ground level. So that's why we wanted to point this out. The higher up he goes, he has to travel even faster because he's traveling farther. And he's got to pick up the speed to get up there.
Yep.
This is just nuts. It's getting worse and worse the farther we get in here, but we have more stuff to tack on to make it even worse.
This goes crazy. This goes into a crazy one.
Let me remind you, Dragonite weighs 463 pounds.
He's a big chunky boy.
He's
a good boy, but he's a big chunky boy.
0.03 feet tall. He's a big boy. And his speed stat is only 80, as compared to our other speedster in the air, Pidgeot. Wasn't Pidgeot faster than that? It was like 100.
Oh, his speed stat? I don't remember speed stat. I know is there are other Pokemon that have a higher speed stat.
It doesn't matter. Yes, Pokemon have much higher speed stats than this. So you're telling me that Ninjask can circle the Earth in 8 hours? Is that what this is saying? I don't know. It's insane. So anyway, somehow this big fat boy is able to circle the Earth in 16 hours, and we got to figure out how. So
obviously, we can't really do it at ground level too well because of the whole friction, exploding, disintegrating.
That's assuming that he's like running, right? You know, it's a car, which he's not. You know, also there wouldn't be any one track of land you could take around. He's got to swim a good amount of that if he's on surface, which was to say no, he's flying. He's flying. So if he's flying, the current world record for flying around the globe is, I'm going to grab a quick quote just so we can see where is this from. This comes from FAI.org. I just wanted to get that before I read the quote. So, the team's Quasar Executive Gulfstream G650ER aircraft landed at the NASA Kennedy Space Center in Florida. I've been there. It's an awesome place. At 8:12 a.m. on the 11th of July after a round trip that took in both the North and South Poles and took 46 hours, 39 minutes, 38 seconds. So this lap around the Earth hit the poles.
Yeah, instead of going horizontal, we're going vertical.
So they went vertically instead of horizontally. Now, Dragonite is weak to ice, and I can't imagine a living thing being able to go that quickly in that crazy changing temperature. I would expect he's going laterally if he's going anywhere. But still, that's the record. And that's not even close to as fast as Dragonite, a living thing, is going. He's going. He's lapping them. He is lapping them.
Lapping them and flipping them off.
Multiple times. I don't know how he's pulling this off. But anyway, we need to talk about another huge problem here. Just by flying in the atmosphere, we have drag.
Yep.
This is going to, for one, it's going to kill him.
Oh, yeah.
Like we talked about.
Let's just, for the rest of this video, let's just, we're just going to say, regardless, he's dead.
How about his magic aura
protects him from dying?
Protects him from just dying and smashing and compressing. He's not dead.
That's fair enough.
Okay, we'll just say that's all his magic aura does. No more magic aura for you. This is a science podcast. So
we're giving you one.
That's it. That's all you get. So now, he has got to somehow fight the drag. Just in terms of the speed, right?
Right.
Because it's going to slow him down. You know, say if you're on a roller coaster and say the power shuts off or something, right? Eventually, it's going to slow down and stop. And, you know, if you put up, like, you know, a parachute or something, you'll slow down more because of the drag.
Right.
That's just the way it works.
Basic drag.
Yeah, so that's really all it is. So the idea is if he's consistently going, say, 1,500 miles an hour, he can't just keep going that speed because the drag will slow him down, and eventually he's not flying anymore.
Right,
at
so
all.
they got to have a higher output.
Yeah, he has to beat this out. And the thing is, the atmosphere is going to be denser the closer to the surface you are, which is why we were saying this is so important, that he's got to be at a certain altitude. So if Dragonite goes crazy high up, this all changes. But just to say the drag for now, he needs to be flapping his wings, yes, harder than the force of the oncoming air is slowing him down, just to maintain his speed.
And we got a number for that.
We do. It's crazy. So we actually found out that the Pokemon Room and the Amino Apps site, they calculated this very same thing. They were interested in this. They found out that Dragonite would actually need to flap his wings with over 90,000, 90,000 newtons of force, which is like more than 5 times the bite force of a great white shark.
Oh, yeah.
And that's consistently. He's got to keep flapping these. He's got to be consistently flapping them at over 700 miles an hour. They calculated based on like the size of his wing and the friction and all that stuff. It would have to be 722 miles an hour.
It's like a buzzsaw. You just stick your hand in there. Bzzz.
At that force. That's insane. Just to maintain this speed, and they calculated it at the surface, by the way, which his tummy would be like scratching against all the mountains and everything he's touching along the way. It's just not possible.
He's just flying. Oh, God.
So just him flapping his wings. We joked about the Pidgeot like creating gales that would knock over trees.
Yeah, no. This is...
Dragonite is creating very massive Category 5 hurricanes just by flapping his wings. And yes, we were joking about a GIF we found before the episode started.
I forgot about this.
Team Rocket with a frying pan holding up a flying Dragonite into it, and he can't stop them.
Even though he's not flying he's trying to ascend.
Yes, he's flapping his wings up. Dragon, they're just so lovable and dumb, though, but I don't know how... This is just... We can't do this!
We can't, because here's the thing.
We found a solution eventually, but...
We did, but we can't make him go higher, because, I'm sorry, Dragonite eats air. He needs to breathe.
We think. So actually, we're going to get to that in a bit, I think. So here, there's another factor, just in terms of us flying around the Earth.
Yep.
The Earth is spinning, right? So the Earth is spinning east at a little over 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, okay? Now, I say at the equator because, of course, this is going to change based on where you are.
Right, we just had to pinpoint, for this entire argument, one location.
Right, so if you were doing a pole-to-pole thing, it's different. You don't really have to worry about that. But you do have to, like, catch up to where your destination lift-off points were, because they're going to move underneath you. So that is an issue, but the thing is... we've also got, say if you're at like the 45-degree latitudes there, it's only going to be spinning like 733 miles an hour because of the fact that, you just like if you spun like a basketball and you're holding it up with the point on your finger, it's not moving there at all. It's barely moving on your finger. It's why you can hold it up. Versus if you try to hold it up on the side, that sucker's falling over because it's going way faster. So you would think by just saying, it's spinning in that direction, why doesn't Dragonite just fly the other way? That doesn't work.
Oh, no.
Doesn't even work.
It makes it harder.
It actually does make it harder. Because you're fighting now all of the atmosphere pushing against you. Because when the Earth is spinning, so is the atmosphere with it. That's why houses and trees are not just being blown over constantly by, 1,000-mile-an-hour winds. The planes need to fight this. So if the plane, say, is going like 100 miles an hour, then it's actually going, 1,000. It's going 100 miles an hour, subtracted by the 1,000 that it's fighting. So it's actually going backwards. The Earth's just spinning faster below it.
Right.
If it's going the other way.
Hence why it takes you almost 18 hours to get to someplace like Japan or something from here, versus 16 hours just to go to Europe.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit further, but at the same time, you gotta fight everything you're going against.
Right, and the reason for that, you would think you would just have to fly the other direction. It's not that simple.
No, it's not.
So regardless, I don't think that's gonna make him cut time anywhere, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to figure out how do we cut time. Going west adds time. He's actually got to go east.
And we found out you can slightly add time if he retains his Dragonair abilities.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll let me see. I'm trying to make sure that we cover absolutely everything because there's so many little factors in this one that's insane.
At this point, I'm not bringing him in space. He can't breathe. He can't breathe in space.
I'm not trying to get him to space either, but still, how about this one? We're like, okay, so
I'm already mad we give him the magical aurora of not
I
dying.
know, but here, how about this solution? Dragonite slowly flies around the North Pole, slowly circling and taking 16 hours.
No.
He didn't circle the globe. It doesn't work.
Here's the thing. It's all technicality.
Right.
Like, yes, he circled the globe.
They didn't say at the equator,
right,
all
this
that
is
stuff.
all a technicality, but I'm still going Pokemon logic where he is dragon flying. He does not like ice. He does not like cold. He ain't gonna do that.
He's not going to the poles.
He's not going to the
He's not
poles.
going to do it. So
he ain't gonna go see Santa.
The globe. So yeah, you would think flying west would work out, but that's really just fighting the 1,000-mile-an-hour winds. That really, think of like you are standing in a flatbed in the back of a truck and you jump. You don't suddenly go hurling off behind the truck. You're going with it.
Well, yeah.
So when you lift off from the Earth, you're still attached to. You still have that launch speed that the Earth gave you.
Well, it's like the whole trick of if you're driving 50 miles per hour and you shoot a cannonball out the back of your truck at 50 miles per hour, it's just going to drop because it cancels out. It just goes, screw it, plop.
Same deal. But except imagine that the speed, but in this case, which would be the winds.
Right, we'd have to...
way higher.
Right, it's just a simple analogy of you would have to increase how fast that cannonball is coming out of that truck to go backwards.
Yeah, and Dragonite, he's not pulling this off.
No, he's not. He's too chunky and low.
Another thing you wanted to jump up to with the weather, we kind of shelved this for a bit, is what about the jet streams? Is there some way he can take advantage of the jet streams and, because of his weather ability, create one wherever he is and just make a highway, straight line? Because the jet stream is all wiggly, jaggly, janky,
exactly.
crazy.
That's the thing. If he's actually riding a currently in place jet stream, he's actually adding time.
Right, because the jet streams
They
are
go
curved crazy like that because it's based on the fact that the Earth is a sphere. And
Right.
it's spinning at a different speed at each point of the latitudes just because of the way that, the temperatures are working and the speeds and the atmosphere and all that
Terrain.
stuff. Yeah, it's a bunch of factors. So if Dragonite can just say, shut up, I'm going this way, I'm making my own highway, and he's going straight line around the equator, maybe that can help us. But not nearly enough. So even if he's riding a jet stream during this perfect path, he's not even going to come close to this because he has to get there in 16 hours. So that means like the max jet stream speeds we could get were 240 miles an hour.
Yeah, they say it can go greater, it just hasn't been recorded yet.
Yes, an average was somewhere around 110. So that's not even close. So let's assume, because he gets to be picky choosy, it's the full-fledged 240. So if it's the full-on 240, then he's still only going 240 miles an hour. He's not going to be accelerating more than this. He's got to, first off, get up high enough. The jet stream's high up.
Yeah, you don't just get that at sea level.
No, he's got to go way up into the atmosphere.
This is not Wind Waker, where we wave our magical little wand and we can change the entire windography of the Earth. It doesn't work. You can't do that.
So he's going crazy fast. Now, for him to only be going 240 miles an hour, there's no way he's going to make it all the way around in time. And we have no other way for him to flap higher or do anything other than, we're going to bring this up, the elevation. So, as we discussed in the Pidgeot episode, the atmosphere is just going to immediately kill Dragonite at this speed.
But he's got his magical shield. We're
Yes,
ignoring
he has that magical shield. But here, what if he's at a higher elevation? Because the drag is going to be drastically less. If the drag is less, yes, he has to go faster to go farther, but he might survive.
Yeah,
Maybe?
but you're still, like you said earlier, we got to add time for him going up.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen in a split second. It takes a while to ascend, and that's if he's going in a straight line and not spiraling up.
Right, so even...
That's just if him just standing there and all of a sudden he just Photoshop poofs up in the air.
Yes. Or, yeah, even if we did, like, have him make a magic jet stream that's a spiral going up, and he did that to ascend to as high as he possibly could with the jet stream helping him, and then he tried to descend by gliding as fast as possible, even still, that's not going to be fast enough.
Nope. And then even if that was close to being fast enough, if he's descending at some point, just based on pure elevation of how he's descending, he might missed the target, hit his ground too early, and then he's got to waste time going back up and then coming back down.
That's his only way to fly, then yeah, he's absolutely screwed. So this is a total mess, and we were desperately trying to figure out how on earth are we going to fix this problem. And
my solution was...
Matt found a solution.
Well, I found 2 solutions. First one, put him in a Pokeball, put him in a jet. He can do it.
I'm not happy with that solution.
I know. I know you're not happy, but it works. Put him in the space station in a Pokeball, and he can do it.
Right, which is another thing I wanted to point out really quick. So the only reason that, like, say, on re-entry, you're going to see certain rockets and anything that's meant to come back down to Earth, like the space shuttles, they're burning, they're going crazy fast because their destinations up there are orbiting the Earth, which is... They typically go around the Earth like once every 7 hours or so. It's crazy fast. Yep. Unless it's the kind of satellite that's meant to be positioned one that actually matches the speed of the Earth.
Right, like your satellite TVs or GPSs.
We have something like that, yes. So if it's, like the ISS, that sucker's moving freaking fast. So if you suddenly drop something off of it, it's going to look like you really just dropped it and it fell down to Earth. But you didn't take into account you were going... I don't even know how many miles per second you got to be going up that fast. I don't have that one pulled up. But so it's going crazy fast, and that's why you've seen people do, like, crazy high, like, the Red Bull dive jumps from space, supposedly.
Those are actually really cool to watch.
They are. But they didn't burn up on re-entry because they weren't moving that fast to begin with. That's what's causing that.
Right, they eventually hit terminal velocity, and then
exactly.
That's how fast they can go.
And they're actually, when you see those rockets... hitting the atmosphere and burning, they're slowing down. That's what's happening. So the guy who's falling in, he's not dealing with that. So Dragonite can't take advantage of a force that's not really working in his favor if he wasn't already orbiting the planet faster just to slow down for this. So he can't even do that. So that's our problem. Matt had a brilliant solution.
Because this is English.
Yes.
So we were looking at the deck entries. We were literally just going back and forth. Like,
we're
maybe he can do this. No.
Nothing was working.
And then something stupid happened.
Because this, I want to point out, only applies to Dragonite. Pidgeot's is just broken and screwed up, and we had its own episode.
This only applies to Dragonite because of wording.
And this wording may break everything we know about.
It just says he can circle the globe in 16 hours. It doesn't say Earth.
No.
It just says the globe.
The globe.
So, there's no rule saying that the world of Pokemon is the same size as planet Earth.
It also doesn't say that it is Earth.
It doesn't. It just says the globe.
On Earth, have you been... There is a Kanto, but it is not Kanto from Pokemon.
No, it's not.
So, you can go to Paris. It's not going to be Kalos.
Nope. It's just based on it.
Right, because you tip people in Kalos.
Yep.
But anyway, so they're not going to be the same places. Why do we keep assuming this is Earth?
It's not.
It can't be.
I mean, even if you take Garatina's dimension warping and all that crap, this is not the... Like, even in Ultramoon, you go to different dimensions. This is not Earth. Right. You are not on Earth.
The technology and crazy stuff they have don't even make sense with our physics anyway.
So, what if the information is already there? It's telling us the truth. 16 hours around the globe.
Yes, so all they're telling us is... This, we know about how fast Dragonite can move.
Yep.
Remember, our fastest speed for him, but using the weather, is about 240 miles per hour.
Yep.
If he's doing this, we now have a speed, and we have the distance.
Yep.
And we've got the time. No, actually, we have the speed and we have the time. Now we can get the distance.
Right, but in order to get the distance, we have to look at our own planet first.
Yes, and we have to calculate that backwards. So, so the only way we
this was the nuts part.
We have to figure out how big is the world in Pokemon for Dragonite to pull off a 16-hour flight around the globe in only by using 240 miles an hour wind speed.
Just fair warning, by the end of this, it's going to be
completely ludicrous.
It's going to be so ludicrous.
So stupid.
To the point where when we were researching, we just stopped. We're like, you know what? We're creating more problems.
So anyway, we had to figure out first. The first thing I had to calculate was, all right, we got to get the ratio right of the planets so we can figure out how far this really would be, like how long it takes at that speed to go around our planet. Like how would we calculate the circumference of the other planet? It came out that the circumference of Pokemon's planet, assuming Dragonite's speed is correct, is only 3,840 miles around.
And what's the moon?
Well, here, for record, the Earth, remember, was 24,901 miles around. Okay? Our moon is 6,786 miles around.
It's bigger.
Pokemon's planet is like half that.
It's so tiny.
That's so freaking tiny. So we're like, there's no way this will work. People can't live on this, but
then we're so far deep in the rabbit hole, we had to keep going.
Then we were like, okay, we got to figure this out because the gravity has to be. You can't just jump off this planet and go forever. But like, gravity's weird. It's not just based on the mass of something. It's also based on the speed at which that object is traveling.
Yep.
So, if Pokemon's planet is orbiting a black hole, and it is ripping around this thing, going so fast you couldn't believe it. Time, by the way, the dilation would be all kinds of screwed up.
No, we don't have to worry about that. We got Palkia and Dialga for that.
Okay.
They fixed that.
For us, outsiders watching the planet, we're like,
oh God.
Man. But them on there, they're living their lives like normal, they don't know.
Meanwhile, Dialga's going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
More like, ha 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 ha. So anyway, they're tearing around this thing, okay? Just to compensate for all the gravity and the force that they're gonna need to make it Earth-like on this dinky little planet. That you could take a road trip and drive around the whole thing.
Well, that's what Dragonite does.
That's what he's doing. That's the only way he can do it. So this is just insane. So
why do you think in the Pokemon games, most of the time, you're not on planes, you're either on a boat or you're on a monorail? That's literally, like, any Pokemon travel, you never see them really on a plane. You see them either taking a boat.
There is one plane in black and white. I think there was a gym leader that was an airplane pilot.
She is, yeah. Skyla is an airplane pilot.
That was it, yes.
But here's the thing. You don't see them use the planes for traveling as they do for transport of items.
Yes, and when they travel, it's usually with Pokemon.
Because it's like...
They're not going that far.
So if I'm not going that far, I can either pay 100 Pokedollars to get a plane ticket, or I can just ride my Lapras for half a day and get there in no time.
Or get on a Dragonite. I mean, that's crazy fast. And
well, I don't know. If those wings are going 700 miles per hour, it's like...
Well, that was assuming it was Earth.
I know. But now I have this horrified vision of a little kid going to pet a Dragonite, his hand just slowly disintegrating as he's going near the wing.
Like, those dinky little wings, those are like insect wings. There's no muscle in that thing. That is going to snap immediately. And say he wants to slow himself down. Like we talked about in Pidgeot. Pidgeot at least had muscle in those wings that he was trying to, like, slow himself down with by creating the dragon.
Dragonite, no.
Dragonite, no.
No.
Absolutely not.
Even if he made a jet stream going against him, no.
It's like trying to use a parachute made of tissue paper. It's not going to work.
It's not.
Anyway, we had one more funny stat, because we were trying to figure out the gravity of this place, and it was getting too intense. We were like, we just got to make this episode.
Because I wanted to know how Ash holds a Larvitar with no issue and throws a giant log.
That I can't answer. But, and we might get into those later. But anyway... This means that the Pokemon planet, this planet, only weighs 921 trillion pounds. Now...
That is nothing!
That's nothing! Here, I'm going to compare this to planet Earth, okay? Planet Earth's weight is 5.972 times 10 to the 24th power.
24 zeros.
That's 24 zeros, okay? This is insane.
This is broken.
It's not even close. It's not even close. This is such a dinky little rock.
It is. But Dragonite can get around it now, finally.
And Dragonite can finally circle the globe.
The globe of the Pokemon world.
And now we have to accept that if that's the case, the Pokemon world is just a tiny little rock.
Yep.
This might change every other thing I know about Pokemon now. Because also, remember, I want to screw this up one final way. The only time I remember anything planet Earth-wise getting mixed in here... originally in Red and Blue, Mew was found in South America.
Well, that doesn't say Earth. I mean, they can have
they can have a South America, sure.
If it's a different dimensional
planet, then they must have another America.
Well, yeah, nothing says they can't have that.
Yeah,
it's just nowhere does it say Earth.
Nope, does not say Earth.
And if I'm dimension hopping, going to different worlds, sure, there could be 20,000 different South Americas. Hell,
they might even they could call theirs Earth as well.
Exactly.
It just doesn't have to be ours. And honestly, I don't know about you, I've never seen a Pokemon before, so I don't think it's our Earth.
No. And based on how everyone traveled, like, Now it makes sense to me why, like, when he was going, is it the Indigo League where they ride Lapras at the 4 islands? What are the 4 islands?
Orange Islands?
The Orange Island League, yeah, when they were doing that one. Because they rode Lapras there, and I'm sitting there going,
yeah.
how are you guys riding that Lapras for, like, months on end and eating and sleeping on a Lapras? But, I mean, if it's only, like, a day trip for them,
right? It
like,
would be a
hey,
day
you guys
trip.
want to go to the Orange Islands? I got my Lapras.
It would, however, still be going over their horizon, because their horizon would be so small.
Exactly. So this explains
Yes.
so much and questions so much. It's like a blessing and a curse.
I need to see, like, the complete, it's non-canon map on Cerebi where they put all the Pokemon regions together. Assume that is the globe.
I've seen it, and honestly,
It
even
works.
with all the regions together, it's not that big.
It's not that big at all. No. So if that's it, you make that all together, you can say that maybe, say, Hoenn, that weird island in Hoenn, just call that South America.
Well, and think
that's
about
their South America, because that's where Mew was found.
Well, think about how short the routes are between towns.
I know, right? You
It's
walk.
not big.
It's nothing. Even when you're out in the oceans, it's nothing. It's so tiny. So anyway, I think that was the only way we could really solve this.
Wait, no, because now I'm thinking of an
God,
Omega
no,
Ruby and Alpha Sapphire when you're riding on Latios/Latias, whichever one where you get a version. It's not that big.
No.
Like, you
'cause
fly
you
over
can
it,
fly
and it's
over
just
it.
right there.
Right. There's no... You're not getting killed
And you're
by the
not that
drag.
high up.
You can even boost. Yeah, you're not even that high up either. You can actually fly around and even run into the volcano, I think.
Yeah, you can.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy tiny.
This makes way too many more questions.
But honestly, it gave us more answers than anything. It solved
did,
Dragonite.
but now I'm thinking of
I thought
all
this
of
was going
these
to be
things.
more bogus than the Pidgeot, and thought, we're not going to make an episode. This is longer.
It makes sense.
This actually would work if the planet is tiny and has crazy high gravity, ripping around a black hole. It's the only way.
And we can just say Pokemon Magic Powers kind of fix things, like that's why Palkia and Dialga exist, because their world's traveling so fast, and the time is just spinning constantly, so they need Dialga there to, like, slow time just for them, so that's more normal form.
I don't know. It's all going to be a
I don't
mess.
know, now my brain hurts, and I just want to go. I don't want to do
It's
this
just gonna
anymore.
mess. But anyway, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to join us next time for some more game science. Be sure to follow us either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And we will see you on the next episode of the Pokedex Paradox. See you.
Bye.